Visual is named visual for a reason. We give you information at a glance. One very graphical and visual window is the manufacturing window. This is where you define your products and what it takes to make those products in materials and resources. In other words, the bill of material and routing combined, a bill of manufacture. Here we see the definition of a product, an A8000. Layered in behind that white folder are colorful folders describing the materials and operations that are required to make this product. Materials are in yellow folders, operations are on blue and green. I have subassemblies, or legs as we call them, on gray. You don't need to remember what those are or worry about the colors. You can always come here to the key to see what those stand for. You can set your favorites. I've set mine to be materials on yellow, outside processes or operations to be on green, internal operations on blue, and those legs to be shown on those gray folders. So if we were to walk through, how do I make this particular product? Well, I start with a material, flat stock. I send that flat stock through the cutoff saw, the brake, the drill, the grind, the mill, and when that main assembly gets to the CNC weld, it needs to be joined with this connector, I'm seeing that, by these two legs. Those legs each have their own materials, their own operations that are required, but as they're finished, this connector tells me exactly when those are needed. That's going to lead me to just-in-time scheduling and planning for those subs. Once welded together, this goes outside to be heat treated. After heat treating, it will come in and be inspected. I'll add a bearing at an assembly operation, and then on to shipping. The materials, like bearing, and the subassemblies are connected to where they're needed. Again, leading to just-in-time planning, just-in-time scheduling, be as just-in-time as you care to be. Getting all kinds of information at a glance. What do I need? When do I need it? How does this product come together? In sequence of materials, in sequence of operations. However, it's not just a picture that gives me information. I can drill into additional details. For example, if I want to know more about this flat stock, not only that I need it, but how many do I need? I need 10 per. In this case, 10 feet per. However, if I needed to describe that in a different unit of measure, say inches or pounds, I could do that. Or if I needed to describe it dimensionally, also could do that. There's additional information for me to see here, like planning information. Who do I buy this from? I prefer that particular vendor, but do I have other qualified vendors? I may have the security to see costs and any burden that's associated with using this particular part. Let's look at what the details are on an operational folder. Here I'm seeing the resource that's required. What's a resource? Well, in a manufacturing vernacular, it could be a work center, it could be a machine, it could be a particular skill set. That's probably the easiest way to think about a resource. So here we need cutoff saw. And how much time do we need that cutoff saw? Well, we need that cutoff saw for half an hour to get this machine set up to run this particular product. Load the programs, load everything we need, load the tool set. But then after that setup, we can get 4 pieces per hour across that particular setup. I might describe that in a different way, hours per piece, etc., minutes per piece, pieces per minute, etc. However, in this case, I'm choosing 4 pieces per hour. So in other words, if I were making 10 of these, I would need 2.5 hours for the run time, but I also need that for upfront time of a half an hour. So I'd need 3 hours to make this if I were making 10 of those. So that is going to lead me to scheduling, to capable to promise, etc. Additional information on an operational folder might be instructions that will be relayed to the shop floor, either in a shop packet or using our shop floor mobile application to give that information. How do I make this when I'm at cutoff saw? What am I supposed to do? It could be that I've attached drawings or work instructions or such. I can attach as many drawings and as many documents as I need to that can be viewed during manufacturing Other information can be viewed here as well. For example, what's the shop rate and the burden? How do I burden this particular resource? Do I have any yield or scrap factors that I need to consider? Do I need to inspect at this step? Outside services are similar but have a little bit of a different requirement for costing. For example, I might need to consider a minimum charge or a base charge. When I'm looking at time that's required, I'm going to have to consider the transportation or transit time to get it from me to my outside vendor and back again. So now you understand what we're seeing here. There are multiple ways to view this information. This is my favorite view, graphical view. However, there are others. For example, there's a I'll call it a traditional view of a bill of material and routing. Let me get rid of this picture. So I can see that combination. I can also, in any of the views I'm going to show you, can choose to see only, let's just say, I only want to see the routing. There we go. I'm hiding the materials. I could hide the operations and only see the indented bill of material. In any of the views, the last one we saw, this one, and even the future views I'm about to show you. So we'll turn that back on. We'll show the operations. Here's another view. I'm not going to show you every one of these. There are actually 7 different ways to view this information, but I want to show you this grid view. It shows exactly the way it is described. It's in columns and rows. In this view, I'm able to not only see things, of course I can maintain from here, change and add materials, add operations, change quantities, change hours. I can also change what I'm seeing. So there are certain columns that are showing. If I want to add additional columns, I'll add in type here. If I want to add additional columns, I can do that with a simple checkbox. I can take things off by excluding them by taking off the checkbox. So we'll add in 1, and here it is right up front, but maybe I want that to show in a different place. I can move that column and move columns around and determine where those need to be. We'll move this column. We'll move that fabricated column, this column over here. Maybe I want that over there. Or maybe I don't want to show it all, take it off the screen. But here I'm seeing the same thing. The materials that are required, the operational steps that are required. Because this is a spreadsheet, that leads me to our next topic, which is how do I create this? Well, because this looks like a spreadsheet, guess what? If I wanted to export that over to Excel or bring in an Excel file to create this or change this, this particular record, I could absolutely do that. To show you other ways, I'm going to flip back to my favorite view, which is graphical. I don't want you to think that you have to be in the graphical menu. This is just my preference for creating. I like this graphical menu. It speaks to me. You use your favorites. So let's say I want to create a brand spanking new product definition or bill of manufacture. We call that engineering master. For a particular item, I could use our searches, but I'm just going to go ahead and type in what I know is the item number I'm trying to create and for what quantity, and sure enough, we'll start that out. And notice it's really a blank slate. Now I need to describe what's the routing look like? What does the bill of material look like? So I could do that the hardest possible way, which is to start to add operations one by one. So maybe I know I have an assembly operation. It's this one, or a resource that's required that's an assembly resource. And for how long do I need them? And I might put in some description of what to do here. And attach a drawing. I could do that. It's not a required field. I don't absolutely have to do that. So now I have the front folder to tell me how to make an A8000, and right now so far all we have is one step, an assembly step. I could also create templates that I pull in. For example, I've got one that I've created here, and I'm just going to sort and say, I'm looking for this particular template where everything starts with a 0, and in this case I want to have these steps on this particular routing. So we'll pick a few. We'll pick fitting, we'll pick paint, and we'll pick, well, we're not going to pick paint before we're going to pick hydro, and we're going to pick welding, and then we're going to add those. So now I'm adding a grouping. I also could then add material. What materials do I need at the assembly step? So come in here, choose the materials. I'll just add one per, that's fine. So add that material, and remember the materials are attached where they're required. How many are needed? So I'm going to attach those where those are required for just-in-time planning. So that's the hardest possible way to create these records, is one record at a time or with small groupings. I'm going to go ahead and delete that and show you a few others. So let's say that this item is similar to something that I have made or something I have a template for. So let's call up that product we were looking at before, that A8000, and let's just tile these two windows together. Here's what we were looking at previously. Here's the brand spanking new one. Maybe it's very close to this, and I want to just drag and drop from one to the other to create all of those records. Once created, I can make it its own. However, I could have just pulled in certain records. I don't have to grab the whole thing. I could have grabbed certain pieces of this and pulled it in. So now that I have that here, let's make it its own unique thing. So now we have an 8001, but maybe this one doesn't have a subassembly. Maybe instead of 3 1/4-inch holes, I need a lot more 1/4-inch holes. Let's just go with like 20 1/4-inch holes, and so instead of 5 pieces an hour, I'm only going to be able to get one. It's going to be 1 hour per piece to get those 20 holes drilled. Maybe I need different materials, etc. So I would make those changes that I need. So start from scratch, build that up, use templates to pull in, use Excel to pull information in here, and finally, the last thing that we'll talk about on creation is I can bring information. Notice it says import from drawing. So I can bring that information from a drawing. I can also copy from a quote. So if I have a quote that I've created in an estimate, and now I've gotten the go-ahead on that product, and I want to utilize, or I want to leverage the work I did in quoting and estimating to start this, I absolutely could. Bring it from something I've made before, that's a work order. So lots of ways to start this. Excel, bring it from a CAD drawing. There's also tools that allow you to directly interface with your CAD systems, to share information, to share part information, to share existing bill of material information, and to make updates directly from CAD. This record is not just information at a glance. Drill into the details you need. This record becomes the basis for material planning and scheduling, for resource capacity, production, planning and scheduling. It's also the basis for expected costs. It's also the basis for capable to promise. Let's take a closer look at costs before we end this particular recording, this session. Here I've drilled into the costs for this new product that we made, and I can see the breakdown of material costs, labor, burden, outside processes. If I move into build, I'll be able to be collecting those actual costs if you want to be actual costed, standard costs if you're standard costed. I'll also see the variance of those two as I move through. But focusing on this, I want to point out one thing. Here on this subassembly, sub 1, notice that we are still breaking that down and maintaining the, I'm going to call them buckets of cost, of service and burden and labor, as well as material. We're continuing to break that down. Unfortunately, in some systems I've worked with in the past, all that information, the labor, the burden, the outside processes, in a subassembly end up showing as material costs only as it moves into its upper level assembly. Visual will maintain those buckets and keep those for you. So here we're able to see those costs as you move forward, build this product. You'll be able to collect costs against that and analyze whatever might be going sideways for you with those variances. So bills of material and routing creation in Visual is right here in this manufacturing window. Here's the first one we were looking at. The manufacturing window is a depiction of and the record of bills of material and routings put together, and I'm calling that a bill of manufacture. One of the many reasons Visual is called Visual.